1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Next.
Can I get some attention? There is something I need to say.
Hi, I'm Ben Capper, and welcome back to another book review. Today is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. My goal out of this book was to find one law that I could disagree with or find fault in, but it was really tough to do. So take the first law as an example, the law of the lid. The writer goes on to explain that the law of the lid is essentially the effectiveness of your leadership ceiling. Now, what's interesting is somebody with a higher lid might find it harder to submit to somebody with a lower lid. Now, this is a really interesting concept, and that's what made me really get pulled into the book, this very first law. Have you ever worked for somebody that you thought, how did they get this position? Or why did they make those decisions? It seems like they're just not a very good leader. Well, it could be that your effectiveness or your ceiling to your leadership is much higher than theirs. The reason why this struck me is because I've always been taught to hire somebody that was better than you. So if you're hiring a group of people to build a team, you may not be the best in every single field that you're hiring for, right? You're hiring for their expertise, so you don't have to micromanage them. The law of the lid explains that when you as a leader hire somebody that maybe has a higher effectiveness in their lid, then you have a choice. You can either fail and that person will leave and because he can't follow you, or you start raising your lid. And that's really interesting because I always try to learn from the people that I hire. I hire for very specific tasks or a very specific skill set that I may not have or I need to compensate for some reason. And I end up learning so much from those people. Now, what if you don't learn? Well, they're going to get frustrated that their lid, maybe in that area, is much higher than yours. And if you don't raise to their bar, then you have a possibility of not having a great working relationship with them, or that they get frustrated and just simply leave. So even though I was practicing the law of the lid in so many ways in business before, I had never really thought about articulating it in the way that he describes it in the book. But it made me think of an example of two competitors, rivals for most of their career, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. So they were rivals all the way from college, all the way to pro basketball. They were the biggest rivals of their time, and both exceptional basketball players. And then when they retired, they both talked about what made them who they are. And come to find out, it was the other person. It was that rivalry that made them the basketball player and the competitor that they were. They were constantly raising their lid to be better or to at least play against the other person.
You were the most feared player. I feared you more than anybody else because I knew if it was a little time on the clock, 0.11, half a second, this man would find a way to win that damn game. So I should thank you for helping me to improve my game, to making me play at a level that I don't know how I got up there myself,
So the law of the lid, we have a choice. We have a choice of letting somebody surpass us and we just never get any better and we give up, and that person may leave us or leave the organization, or we can raise the bar and raise our lid to either meet or be better than the other person. And that's okay. Competitiveness in this way is okay because you're trying to make each other better. When you learn a new sport, you're not playing bad players. You want to play good players because you learn their technique. You learn how they play. They're good. You want to be like that. So you pull what you can from them. So this was just a single example. The other thing I liked about this book is you didn't have to learn the laws in succession. One didn't depend on the other. The good thing about it is you don't have to master one to move on to the other. You can skip around and cherry pick which ones that you actually wanted to work on that you thought would benefit you in your career at this moment. Next year, it may be a completely different law that you want to focus on or a different time. So you can just skip around and practice the ones that are more meaningful to you and your role today and in your career. This is a great addition to anybody's leadership library. I thought it was really well done. Examples were really thoughtful. What I wished they could have done is have this in a series of books with more laws or expound on it a bit more. It was a very quick read, very easy read, but yet it was very powerful, I thought. If you thought this was a good review, go buy the book, read it, leave comments afterwards. Let me know what you thought about it. Subscribe if you like this review, and until next time.
Can I get some attention? There is something I need to say.